I want to call this spiritual Saturday, but what this is multidimensional Saturday. Whenever we sit down in our virtual sanctuary, it is a true multidimensional experience, and it's multidimensional in everything that matters, coming from everything from the very core of the very cell that lives within you, trillions of them do, and goes all the way out to everything that is. And there is no limit in that we could possibly fathom. We're going to start talking about, first of all, let me go back and start talking about the misrepresentation, the fear mongering, and the deliberate media hype of fear mongering about what they're calling Three-Eye Atlas. Now, surely everyone's heard about this. If you haven't, have a look up what it is. Everyone's terrified, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's coming to get us. It's this, it's that. And then there's all these now. I can't be nice about people that are inauthentic. You know that about me at the moment. I never like a charlatan. I never have. I've always gone on to rants about them, but something kicked over in me recently where I am just absolutely fed to the teeth. There are so many people, and they're all crapping on about what the Three-Eye Atlas actually is. We know from the Three-Eye, when it actually went past Mars, it they had all these multiple feeds. NASA had all these multiple feeds of what it was going to get, all the photos going to get, because it was going to go close to Mars. And so they had everything from the rovers to all sorts of things to photograph, document, blah, blah, blah. And every single one of them, and the impossibility of this is amazing mathematically, but every single one of those devices failed at the exact same second, and they didn't get anything. And then NASA hit the button, cut transmission, and the screens all went blank. If you were watching it, it just they oh my God, what the hell's happened? And they just like freaked out. It was like the Truman Show, cut transmission. It was just it was very funny to watch because of the sheer panic of the fact that they didn't have control. And it was and now let me tell you first of all, Three-Eye Atlas it's not anything to fear. It's actually quite the opposite. So I've written this down to be concise with what it actually is. Three-Eye Atlas is it's a multi-dimensional vehicle, but it's actually not a single entity. They're trying to call it a comet or a meteor or things like that. It's not that. It is a multi-dimensional vehicle. It's actually multiple vehicles. It's not just one lump. It's actually multiple, and they're moving together. It's traveling in a precise path along the elliptic plane that is exactly the same elliptic spiral, the elliptic plane, as our solar system. Now, the reason it's doing that in incredible precision is because it's about to come back and go very close to the sun itself, deliberately, precisely working and interacting with our star, with the sun as we know it. It's what it's doing is bringing and bridging codes. Now, there's all these supposed remote viewers that have piggybacked. They're saying that it's manned and there's a huge population of draconian reptilians on it. That's not true either. This has actually come in because of where we are right now in our time, space, evolution, everything that is going on. It has come in to assist the Earth itself. So it's come in with codes and shift, magnetic shift, every sort of level you can imagine, and an awful lot that you can't because we don't know that. This isn't just cancel the fear mongering and the crap. When someone, oh, it's all, people are coming to attack us, they're going to, no, like there have been intergalactic, multidimensional spacecraft all over this planet for ages, and they still are. They're everywhere. If they were going to attack, they would have. If they were going to annihilate the human race, they would have. All right. Like it's seriously, just let's get a grip on this and not dive in. This is a fascination and a gift to see this actively interactive in plain sight of the human race now. These beings, these presences, the Syrians, the Arcturians, the Lyrians, everyone that's out there working with us, for us, and are active in this process with the Three-Eye Atlas, they're on our side. Look at it that way, all right? Don't buy into the dark. Um, always keep your guard up. There is a lot of dark out there at the moment. We're seeing that all over the planet, and it's up to us as individuals and as a community to stand up in ourselves and in our strength. Keep our guard up, keep our vibration high, don't fall to the fear mongering. Okay. But at the same time, I mean, I had like literally this morning, my whole routine this morning was interrupted because suddenly I had to do a fourth dimensional thing. Now, we all know how much I hate that stuff, but and I only hate it because it's so interruptive and it's such a pain. And what are you guys even still mucking around with us for? Like, what's going on here? But I actually had to clear something that was just like, what the hell are you doing here? You're out. It was like, hey, you're interrupting. 3 Atlas. Don't buy into it. It's actually a very beautiful thing. If nothing else, have a look at the color of it. The color of the 3 Atlas is that beautiful bluish emerald green that is the heart chakra. Okay, like that's how we know. This is like if you're going to color the heart chakra and just talk energy, trust in that. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about on the 14th of October, which is Tuesday. Okay. We are starting the virtual online program for the healing facilitation, but on the 14th, we're doing the singular option of the Power Up Your Presence. Now, this is, I haven't advertised it because I don't want huge numbers at this because we're doing some really cool stuff. But you want to be there on the 14th for the Power Up Your Presence, even though you're thinking, well, I know all that. I know how to do those basic things and blah, blah, blah. It is the stage one of like, that's like your healing facilitation level 1 is the Power Up Your Presence. Every time I teach, and everyone that's worked with me for years, Elaine, Janie, everyone will tell you that every time I teach, you learn something new, no matter how many times you've seen it, because something new is always evolving. Every time I teach, I do bring something that didn't come to the last program. But the reason you want to be there on the 14th is it is an incredible day in time. It's actually this really cool day in time that they call the golden intersection of timelines. Now, the cool thing on the 14th, 15th, depending where you are, is that we will experience for the first time in over 443 years, we will actually experience timelessness. Now, this is where it gets really cool. This is where everything past, future, present, none of that exists anymore. It all comes into a singular. And this hasn't happened. We haven't lived in correct time for about 443 years. So let me go back. This is really, I was going to say it's once in a lifetime, but it's not even that. It's once in history alignment. Like it's just, this is incredible alignment. But it's called, like, we're calling it the golden, well, everyone that I've discussed it with, we're calling it the golden intersection of timelines. You can call it whatever you like. But let's go back to, what was the year? Back in, what was it, 1582, Pope Gregory II, signed off on a decree changing the calendar to a manual mathematical calendar controlled by, it's the Pope, right, by the church. He signed the decree for this 443 years ago. And the world started operating off what's known as the Gregorian, Pope Gregory, right, the Gregorian calendar. Now, I probably don't need to tell you that this is church, right? This is religion. It's not spirituality. This is designed to control humans from a place of fear and all the rest. And so that's not debatable. We know that's a given, right? Now, this is where it's fascinating for what's happening for us is because what's happening on the planet right now coordinates unbelievably with this. Anyway, let's go back. So change the calendar via the church, and it distorted the natural flow of time, the natural flow of planet and nature with us, only us, the human beings on the planet. It only affected us because, of course, we're the only ones that can fathom this mathematical shift of this is how we're going to count days now and blah, blah, blah. The reason the church did this and the reason it was done way back then, same reason that all this crap's going on now, it's all about control, right? But what it did was bring a distortion to the natural flow of time and hence the natural coherence of our existence in the place that we live. So ever since this happened, we've been kind of chasing time, trying to catch up to time, trying to do everything. Now, you know, a week ago, yeah, I think it was a week ago, we had daylight savings turned over here in where I am at the moment in Victoria in Australia. Daylight savings kicked over, and that is daylight savings is us chasing time. It's us trying to correct and realign and get back to it. And so daylight savings turning over when it did, especially when we're coming to this point on the 14th, very close to when daylight savings is turned over on the Gregorian calendar. They're always trying to self-correct, so it manually corrected. So what this brought was a natural, well, not a natural, what it's brought is enormous disharmony to the human existence. To each individual human being, this is not how we were meant to live in a Gregorian calendar. And because of that disharmony, that imbalance, that can't quite put our feet down, you can imagine that makes you that much more vulnerable to control. Okay. Someone else says, oh, we can make it work for you. This is how we do it. Follow our distinct doctrine of how you should connect with spirit and not actually connect, just live in fear. But yeah. So since then, we've had this enormous disharmony constantly running to a clock rather than flowing with nature itself. Time's never actually been linear, though. It's never been mathematical. Time is like we are in our solar system. It's like what the 3i Atlas is doing. It is a spiral. It is actually like our solar system, because our solar system, the sun, or do it this way, the sun, this is the sun. We, all the planets, move around it, behind it as it travels. Like we actually work in a spiral like this. Okay, so, and that's actually what time does too. But the Gregorian calendar, of course, pulls us out of that. We don't actually exist in that. Now, this actually does all come back to what we would consider to be a mathematical perfection. So in 1582, Pope Gregory signed the decree, the calendar decree, taking humanity out of coherence with its own foundation, with our own actual natural existence on this planet. Now, where the mathematical coherence works in this. So that was on the 14th of the 10th back in 1582. And we're about to hit the 14th of the 10th, 2025. So 443, what did I say? Well, something like that years later. In that period, there's been 161,800, I wrote this down, 803 days in there. Now, why is that number relevant? 1.61803 is the number of, hang on, let me do a screen share here. I bet you I can find this any minute now. Here we go. Here, have a look at this. This is called, so can you see that? Yeah, cool. This is called the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, the balance that we see occurring all over the planet. So this is from sciencenotes.org, this little image is. And I grabbed it because we see this everywhere. We see it in cyclones. We see it in weather events. We see it in enormous whirlpools. We see it in structures of Nautilus. There you go, the old Nautilus shell. There you go. You can see it all there in that basic document of what the golden ratio is. And this is why we're calling it that global intersection of timelines, intersection of timelines. This mirrors the golden ratio, the golden pattern, this figure of 1.610,803, sorry. We see this also in our very DNA. We see this in our cell structure. We see this in our body. We see it in our presence. We see it in the flow of what's working through our full axial presence around us. It is this flow, this incredible, beautiful spiral of perfection that is actually quite infinite. But this is how we've managed to measure it as a human. This is all leading to something. This is all going to make sense to you in a minute. All right. So bear in mind, we're starting the program on this day. We're starting the healing facilitation program on this day. Interestingly, what they actually call this too on the 14th, in terms of what goes on in global stuff, they call this World Standards Day, the 14th of October. No doubt related back to Pope Gregory, but they call it World Standards Day because it's the global recognition of, or the day of global recognition of the standardization of measurement and of time. Okay. On this particular day too, but 3 actual calendars are actually for the very first time coming together in unity on the 14th of 2025, 14th of October 25, which is the Mayan long count, so the Mayan calendar, and the I think it's the Zola calendar as well, and of course the Gregorian, perfectly all synchronizing for the very first time ever on the planet on the 14th, on Tuesday, which is just pretty cool. So for the first time in more than 443, well, exactly 443 years on that day, we will be in a place of timelessness. And for the first time as a human being in 443 years, we will be in absolute coherence with our planet, our solar system, our galaxy, our dimension. So this is not, time is not a place of linear uh, structure. We're all going to be synchronized on that particular day to what is actually a harmonic code, a harmonic convergence. It is actually, well, harmonic coherence is probably a better term, with planet, with nature, with everything. So for the first time, we're actually going to feel our feet on the ground, particularly for us in this lifetime. We're going to feel our feet on the ground, but for probably many lifetimes, several lifetimes, it'll be the first time in several lifetimes that we've found our feet on the ground. It's a moment to remember that harmony itself, harmonic and coherence, are not a concept. They're a resonance, they're a vibration, it's a frequency. And we're going to feel that in our very existence on the 14th. What an amazing day to do Power Up Your Presence, right? To actually ignite the whole presence of self. And so it's we're actually going to be able to move with time. And via intent, which is what I'll be doing in the Power Up Your Presence on Tuesday, what we'll actually do is engage resonance in the whole presence. Now, even if I have new people in there that have never done this before, via intent, and as you know, if you've trained with me, I'll be working with everyone around the world at the same time in session. You'll all be in my vibration. I will actually, via intent, move to the place where we choose to consistently and stay in that coordination. Given what timeline's doing and how they're shifting, we won't be shifting with that anymore. So we're going to stay in that resonant place of working in that harmonic resonance of outside time, if you like, where we actually keep our feet present here on the planet with the planet, which is going to be incredible. So, I'm going to put the links in the chat room here for you for the actual signing up for the program. Good job, me. All right, I'm going to put the links in the chat room. I'll put them on the Facebook page as well. They're heavily discounted. I just thought, no, I'm going to bring it down because people need this. If anyone can come to this, if you have friends that want to train and want to do the healing facilitation, the fully certified, it's done 12 hours over 7 sessions, and you have space between the sessions. Like they're like 90 minutes, and then you have like at least one day between to actually assimilate, process, let the cells adapt, plus all the healing that occurs. But Power Up Your Presence, which is 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on the 14th, in that the golden intersection of timelines, we're going to jump on that anchor. And when I realized that the actual time that I'm doing Power Up Your Presence is like the 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, is actually right in alignment. It's right in the middle of that incredible alignment. That's when everything shifted, and I realized how powerful it is what we're doing. With these links, share them with everyone you know if you can. Particularly if you're in the United States, please share them with people. We want everyone to be able to heal themselves. And if all they do is Power Up Your Presence, they will have incredible tools to heal themselves, heal others. In the Power Up Your Presence, I've actually added tools in there, like things like how to do a quick hands-on, how to deal with minor injuries, how to do with, things like that. Because so as that's happening and healthcare is collapsing everywhere for people, and healthcare is becoming increasingly inaccessible, and pharmaceuticals are going to be too expensive for everyone. But with all of that, people need this tool. So please do share the links, put it out there. Hopefully we can help as many people as we can. And definitely put it around to wherever you are locally, to clients and people that you have, so they know that you can assist them. Like if they need a session from you and you're close by, small community people around you, smaller communities, people that are local or that can get to you, this is going to matter a lot more as the planet goes through what it's going to. Okay. Short term, relatively short term, but still in a period that we need to be able to help one another. Okay. There's the healing facilitation, the refresher, the healing facilitation for anyone new that wants to do it. And there's just the Power Up Your Presence as well, which has been reduced from $249 to $99 because I just want people to grab whatever they can. Like, so I've made it, all of them being discounted, but a lot. Wait till you see the prices. I just want people to get what they need before we start getting cut off. If a government can shut out 81 million people from their own bank accounts, then you know that we're going to see people shutting things down where people won't be able to communicate. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I can maintain communication with everyone that needs to communicate. Okay. I love you heaps. This is actually good, things are changing. We needed this stuff to change on the planet. The fact that the church or churches and religions are losing control of people is a good thing. We can't live from that place of darkness and fear, and just certainly not from the fear of the feminine. The feminine's risen. So this is how the planet is now. The fact that the human race can finally realign with all other presences and beings on this planet and with the planet herself on the 14th is just mind-blowing. It's just, it is really, really beautiful. All right. I love you guys heaps. I am letting you go now. I will see you next week and I will be there, but I will see you hopefully on Tuesday when we step into the old golden intersection, woo, and actually lift your presence into it. We're going to take your axial into that higher vibratory coherence of self. So let's do that.